How are you?
I am fine. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, thanks.
That's good. I am putting some finishing touches on some things, so I will be right with you guys,
Take your
or right
time.
with you, rather.
No, I'm looking, I was like, where is everybody? Take your time.
They're coming. I've gotten emails, so I know
Look, I was
I
just
know it's some folk waiting.
excited. All right, take your time. I'm here.
No worries, no worries. Thank you for signing up for the class. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, I'm excited because when you started talking about it, because I've only found your videos probably like 6 months ago. And then I just kept
Okay.
watching here and there. And then it's like, oh man, I'm stuck. I'm hooked.
Oh. All right. Well, we're gonna make sure that everybody has smooth sailing. Hopefully, with Solar. Well, they ain't hopefully. We're gonna have smooth sailing with Solar Pro.
All right, that'll work.
So really, I love this program. I know it works. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Oh, wait a minute. She's still muted. Yeah, they coming in.
Yeah, I see now. Here we go.
And that's not gonna work either. Stupid phone. Put my phone over here out of the way. Well, hey, Jandamar Parsons. That name doesn't sound familiar to me. I gotta check my I need to check my roster as well. Let's see. Um okay, here we go. We are, let's see. There we go. Um, oh, that was me. That was one by phone. Oh, that's what I needed to also do. Get that ready. Okay. Hello. I know this Zoom is like a royal pain. I was going to do it on YouTube, but I wanted to make sure we had more control over
Right.
what was going on with it. Oh, that's right. Hang on. Let me get y'all. Here we go. And share screen. Well, hey, Sabrina. Uh-oh, you muted. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can. Now I can. Now I can.
I've been sitting here for 45 minutes having technical difficulties. I think I got
Oh no.
it. I'm not technically inclined. I just
It's all right.
and got you straight, and I can see, and I'm good.
All right, awesome sauce. We're gonna be starting up in a minute. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 folks that need to come on in. I'm sorry, no, 4 folks. We had one person drop today. Well, she's gonna switch classes, so there we go.
I've been running around all day trying to get this in. So.
Oh, you got an order? Well, hey, Laura, how are you? I can't hear you, babe. I did send a thing though for you to.
Okay.
There you are.
I hope I'm on it. I hope I'm on at the right time. The email said 5 o'clock. Okay, good. Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm not interrupting y'all.
Each class has its own meeting ID and stuff. So
okay.
If you try to join the one at 8 o'clock, you won't be able to join. The password and all of that is different.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Which is why I waited to send out the invitations, because I wanted to make sure the right folks that's supposed to be in the class get the right information and nobody's sharing information. So that was the reason why I did that.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you. Oh, let's see.
Oh, no, thank y'all.
Cheryl, no, you don't need a camera. You don't have to have your camera. Okay, cool. I'm glad you can hear me. But if you want to speak, I can send you the thing to unmute it if you don't see it. But you're welcome to, okay, it's 5 o'clock. You're welcome to ask questions. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. And I appreciate you guys taking the Sew It Pro class, because Sew It Pro has been my heart and soul when it comes to doing embroidery. I hope each one of you already has your Sew It Pro already installed and already been tinkering around with it a little bit. First, let me ask, if you don't mind, how long has each one of you been actively using Sew It Pro, or are you just, you've had it and just haven't been using it? That's a question I did want to know. And Parsons, it says that you're connecting to audio. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, it won't let me merge your audio for you, so I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how to do it, but it should be asking you. Cheryl bought it a year ago and hasn't used it. It may be an option when you first log in, asking you if you want to use computer audio. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. So it should send you a request to unmute. Got you.
Okay, got it now.
Yes.
Oh, Eve, I do not have Sew It Pro because I have BES4. Could I use that as well?
Huh?
I have BES4. That's the brothers.
Okay. Now, brother, the functions and formats will be different with this program. This is for Sew It Pro. Some things you should be able to, finagle and wiggle into your program, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have you said BES Pro or BES4?
BES4.
Oh, 4. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't have that. But this is.
I've got the Sew It Pro because I don't even know how to use the BES4.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. And that's part of the problem. Like, Cheryl probably, she says she just got it a year ago and haven't used it. Okay. I see him. C61. What's your name? Because that's not your name. What's your name? You.
Isabel. I'm Isabel.
Isabell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No E on the end.
Oh, no E on the end. Okay. Let me change that then.
Oh, please.
I don't like I want to make sure I know who we are. Welcome. So Isabel, you said you purchased it a month ago, been playing around. Laura bought it a few years ago, haven't been able to use it all that often, but you've made towels?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay.
Nice.
And Sabrina, how long have you been using yours?
I downloaded it 40 minutes ago.
That's right. That's right. Because I was like, wait a minute, what? Nick Nettlers. Okay, got you.
Oh, God.
All right. So just to let you guys know, it's the most affordable embroidery editing program that's out there. Most of the other programs, if it didn't come with your machine, most of the other programs out there are in the hundreds, whereas Sew It Pro is $65, and it is a powerhouse. It does just about everything that all other embroidery editing programs do. The only difference with any embroidery editing program, there's one program out there that uses a part of its program is called BX Fonts. Okay, and I'm sure you probably heard of it if you've purchased the font before. If you haven't, I can clue you in on it a little bit, but it's basically a font. The way their program is set up, you can type on the keyboard and type in your lettering. Now, Sew It Pro has heard so many people saying, this is what we want, this is what we want, that they've added that feature, and we're going to address that in this class as well to show you how that feature works in Sew It Pro. But I'm going to show you why I'd rather not use that feature. Okay. But we're going to start out, since most of you guys are, or most of you all are pretty new with Sew It Pro. Oh, Lord. Hold on. We got folks coming in. Hello. But since most of you all are new with Sew It Pro, we're going to go ahead and just start with some of the basics, show you that really quickly, and let you see what that all entails. And I'm going to actually close out my Sew It Pro so that you can see everything from the beginning. And I'm actually going to mute everyone as well. Now, if you have a question, really quickly, if you have a question, there is an option. No worries, Laura, that's understandable. If you have a question, there's a raise hand feature here. You can use that, or you can, any of those controls where it say yes or no or whatever, you can use any of that to get my attention, and we'll answer your questions. Now, someone just logged in with iPad. Who is iPad? Because I want to make sure I have your name. I don't want to call you iPad. You can type, you're in the chat if you don't want to speak, or you can unmute and just tell me real quick, and I'll
Zaranda.
Saranda?
Yes, Zaranda.
Zaranda. Okay. All right. Thank you, babe. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I'm probably going to spell it wrong, but I'm going to put that so that I can make sure I can address you properly. Okay. So now we're going to, I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what we've got going on with Sew It Pro. Actually, let's open it up real quick. I had it open and then I closed it. All right, there we go. So with Sew It Pro, Sew It Pro is one of the things I definitely want to point out with Sew It Pro is they have all of these buttons up here, which make life so much easier once you get used to what they are and what they stand for. But there's some basic things that you really definitely want to do once you start using Sew It Pro. One of the first things you really should do is make sure that your computer itself is set up to make your life easier when it comes to using Sew It Pro or just using your embroidery designs to begin with. I don't know how long you've been embroidering, but one major complaint is folks don't remember what designs they've bought in the past, and they'll buy the same design again, or they'll lose designs and forget where their designs are. So make sure you have one dedicated folder somewhere on your computer to put your embroidery designs in, so that it'll help keep everything organized. And that's really going to be important if you decide to use the embroidery lettering feature in this program. That also helps you when it comes to your monthly backups. I promise, I can't emphasize enough to back up your embroidery designs and files, because it doesn't matter. It can happen in a blink and all of those files will be gone. So that little bit of the soapbox and announcement over with, we'll get into Sew It Pro. So make sure you have one dedicated place to go get your designs. So Sew It Pro is laid out just like every other Windows program. If you're on a Macintosh, you have to use the Windows emulator in order to run Sew It Pro. But all of the, even on Macintosh, I believe they have Windows, menu options in their files as well. So you can open a design, you can merge a design, you can close, you can save as, and you can even email a design that you've worked on. You can print your designs out as well. And a print preview allows you to see what it is that you're going to print out before you print it, and page setup lets you choose what pages you're going to do. So what we'll do is go ahead and get us a design to put on our computer. So here is one of my favorite websites. I talk about them all the time. I don't get any referral fee or anything by referring people here, but it doesn't matter, because in my opinion, they have excellent, I have yet to come across a bad embroidery design from this company. So definitely check out Embroidery Library. But one of the other things I want to point out is they have free designs every month. The first of every month, they come out with a new embroidery design. So let's go ahead and grab us one to use with Sew It Pro. All right, so we're gonna click on where it says free designs. And let me make sure I'm not, looks like somebody's trying to get in. Give me a sec. Nope, okay. So this kitty heart, I absolutely love it. I already have these other designs. So this kitty heart is the one that I'm gonna pull. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the 4x4 version of him. So if you want to, and you want to follow along, you can go to Embroidery Library, or if you want to watch this later, go to Embroidery Library during the month of October. Now, after October, this will be gone. So if you want to get it now. And we'll grab this kitty heart and we'll add it to cart. And since I don't have to pay for anything, we'll go ahead and put him in our inventory and check out. So whenever you get a design, which I'm sure you've done this before, you just download it to your computer. Now, if you get the zipped file, you will have to unzip your design. Right now, Sew It Pro can do that for you. It's just easier for you to do it. So in the event that someone doesn't know how to unzip, I'm going to show this real quick. You can go click where it says extract, because this is our zipped file. And when you click up under that, it says extract. So in the event that you don't know how to extract a design, that's how it works. Just going over that really quickly. Okay. So we have our extracted design right here. And we're going to, it's in our this PC downloads folder, so we're going to go ahead and pull that up into Sew It Pro. So let's open Sew It Pro back up, and we're going to open this PC. Remember, it was in our downloads folder, and I'm going to open that, and here's our folder with our design in it. Okay, here's our kitty cat. So we're going to open the kitty cat, and here he is in a 4x4 frame. When you open him in a 4x4 frame, does that mean you have to use a 4x4 hoop on your machine? No, you don't have to. He just any design that you open up in Sew It Pro is going to open in its default program. Okay, so I mean in its default hoop size. So the smallest size hoop that your design will fit is what's going to open up whenever you open up a design. So if we want to make this a larger design by adding letters or something else to it, it's easy to change your hoop size. There's a picture of a hoop right here. Adjust hoop size. Or you can do the Control H, either one, but just look for that little green with the black outline hoop. That's how you change your hoop size. It's also in our options menu where it says hoops as well. Everything that's on this toolbar is in this menu option here. Okay, just going over that. So here's our cat. We're going to go ahead and change him to a 5x7 frame just to show you a natural flow. That's the purpose of what we're doing at this moment. Your hoops are here in this list. Depending upon the machine that you have, they have a whole list of manufacturers right here. Are you able to see these hoops on the hoop list? Okay, cool. Because I wasn't sure if this would show up or not. So you got Kenmore, Husqvarna, Janome, you know, whichever one of these that you have, Redline, Melco, doesn't matter. You can scroll across right here and pick what size hoop you have. Notice here as well, units. You got millimeters and you have inches. So we here in the United States, we don't use millimeters, but the millimeters are the more accurate sizes of your hoops. So when you switch over to inches, you will have to, I don't want to say guess, but you will have to kind of know what size hoop you're dealing with. Sometimes it's easier just to pick millimeters because the hoop itself generally will say the millimeter size on it. Like with my brother, small embroidery machine, the 4x4, it doesn't say on the hoop 4x4, it says 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. So I know I can come here and find 100 by 100. And they were even nice enough to put the measurements, the US conversions on this one as well. So sometimes it's better just to use millimeters versus inches, but it's up to you, whichever way you would like to go. But notice the baby lock is 5x7, 180 by 130. So we'll select that one. This one is the up and down version. Okay. But we want the side to side version. All right. Have I lost anybody yet? I want to check and make sure of that really quick. What am I doing when I press print preview and it prints the whole alphabet? We'll get to that. We'll put a pin in your question and we'll get to that one. Okay.
Excuse me, Eve.
Yes.
Can you go over how you made the cat flip from portrait to landscape?
I sure can. So if you come up here to the hoops and notice there's two different 5x7s listed. Even though it's a brother machine, it says baby lock. It's okay. Don't pay that part any attention. It's your size that you're worried about. So 5x7 means width, and then your height is second. So the 5x7 is actually 5 inches wide by 7 inches tall. But in the list of your hoops, your width comes first. So to make it the other way around, we need the 7 wide by 5 high. So you just choose the second hoop or choose the other option. And it's the same with all of them. So if we go to, where is it? Even if you did the 13x8, which is my largest size hoop, the first option is usually the tall, what we call portrait. And then the second one is going to be landscape. It's the exact same size. It's just the measurements are flip-flop. Okay. Did that make sense? Here we go.
Yes, it made sense.
Okay. So we have our cat. That's an awesome question because that also helps you learn how to select the right hoop. But there's another option here in Sew It Pro. You can set your default hoop that opens up whenever you do a new design, or not opening a design from scratch, but putting a design in, and you can do a set default hoop by coming in and grabbing a hoop and then setting it as the default and hitting OK. So that's going to be the hoop that you would use the most. You don't have to do that, but it's an option if that's something you would like to do. Okay, so now that we have the cat and we want to add lettering to him, this is one of the things that there's two things that you really want to make important when it comes to working with Sew It Pro. First of all, we opened up the original file. The kitty cat, and if you look right here at the tab, it says m32253.pes. That's his file name. This is the original file that we downloaded. So if I make any changes to this kitty cat and then I hit save, it's going to change the original file. You won't be able to go back to the original without re-downloading it from the website again. So what I like to suggest to people is whenever you open a file and you know you're going to change something with your file, then you want to save as immediately right off gate. Here's the first one. Just do a dash and put edit. Okay. Or if, for instance, you're doing a kitty cat shirt for each one of your grandchildren or each one of your children, you can say edit, or you can say Christina. That's her kitty cat. And you're going to put her name up under her cat. You see what I'm saying? That way, whenever you need to make this file for someone else, you're not messing with the original file. You can always reopen that original file immediately off gate before you make any changes to the design itself. Save it as something different than the original file name. But that's definitely the way you want to go to make your life easier. I promise you really want to do that. Okay. So we'll just name ours edit so that we don't change the original file. Another question that's very prominent or very popular rather with Sew It Pro is, can you resize a file? Okay, so you've bought this, it's in 4x4, but you want to make it 5x7. You want to make it larger. Yes, Sew It Pro will allow you to resize an embroidery design. You would need to go into tools. This is the only way to do it. Now I'm going to show you this way you can do it as well. You can see how these bars, and you can drag and open it up. That will resize it, but what that does is it just makes it bigger, but it doesn't add to the stitches like it's supposed to. You need to adjust the amount of stitches because it's not going to stitch out properly if you do it that way. So don't ever use the drag and drop. I mean, the drag the corners. We want to resize with the resizer box option. Look at the options it gives you. You can resize by the width. You can resize by the height. If this lock aspect ratio is check marked, then it will change both at the same time. So let's make it 120, make it 120%, 20% bigger, and hit OK, and it's bigger. And what it also does is it adjusts your stitches. So I'm going to go back, and I clicked on the kitty cat, and look over here on the right hand side under our file name edit, and under the size of the design, notice how many total stitches is in the design. 10,916 stitches is in this design. So if I make it bigger by dragging the bars, how many stitches do we have now? 10,916 stitches. That's not good. You want it to stitch out in the proper density as it's supposed to. So I just hit the undo button and put him back where he was. But now we'll resize him with the resizer. So again, we go into tools, and then we'll resize, and we're going to change him to 120%. So just make him 20% bigger. My suggestion to you as someone who does digitizing and creating my own embroidery designs, you get a better output if you resize no more than 20% bigger or 20% smaller. If you go outside of that, it can, but you're taking a chance in it not stitching properly. You can do it. There's no rule that says no, you can't do that, but you can lose some of the integrity of how it's supposed to stitch out if you go much bigger than that. But you can give it a shot, try it, play with it on something that's not, like, if you decide you want to resize, play with it on something that's not important when you stitch it out the first time. If it stitches okay, then put it on your project, but don't resize it and put it on your project ahead of time. Okay, that's just the
Excuse me, Eve.
FYI. Yes, ma'am.
Can you show your screen while you're doing it? Because I
Doing
want to
what?
follow along when you're resizing. When you brought up the box to resize.
It didn't show up.
No, I can't see your computer. I just see you.
Can y'all see the resize thing?
Yes, we can see you.
Huh.
We can see your screen.
Oh, the lead bird is Rico's
Okay,
fan.
so Zorunda, I'm not sure why you can't pull it up.
Yeah. You know her?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I can see your face, but I can't see your computer screen.
You may have it on speaker view.
Oh.
Let's see. I don't know how to change it to okay, so did that help you any? I don't know.
No, I still just see you.
I'm sorry. Let's try this again. I'm gonna try and change it to, are you able to see it now?
No, I still just see you.
See if she can scroll up to the top of the people, and there's a grid there. It's got 9 little squares.
Right.
And
right.
see if she can click on that. See if that helps her. If not, try the, see if that blue one might help.
Does that show on your iPad, the grid view or the different views on your iPad?
Yeah, but both of them just have you, your face. It doesn't have your computer screen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I may have to.
This one says, to the right of that, there's a rectangle and 2 squares in the right-hand corner, and it says swap shared screen with video. I'm just throwing things out there that might work.
Yeah, I would have to look that up. I've never, because even on my iPad, in other meetings, I'm able to see the screen, but I'm not sure why you wouldn't be able to.
I think it's her screen.
And I don't see any settings.
Okay, I got it.
You did? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Eve. You saved me more than you know.
I appreciate that. But yes, I wouldn't resize any more than 20% larger or 20% smaller. So I'm sorry you missed on all the other stuff too, dear. I'm sorry about that. But fortunately, this will be posted so that you guys will have a replay. You can watch it at any time at your leisure, and you will have a link to your video. Okay. But here in this box, it was, just to go back, it was at 100%. Anytime you open a design, let's close this. Anytime you select a design and you go to tools and resize, it will open up at the original 100%. Okay, so we're going to change this to 120. Now, if I want to make it smaller, 20%, then we'll have to do math. And y'all know I hate math, but we have to do it. It will go down to 80% because you're taking 20% away from the 100. And then you just hit OK. And notice he got bigger. Now we had 10,000. How many stitches did we have in him before? His stitches, hold on. Resize his pattern. We're going to auto adjust the density. If you take this away, it will show the size. It won't do the percent. And we're going to lock his ratio. And I'm going to go down because I want to see. There we go. Okay. So we dropped him down to 80%, and notice our stitch count went down. That's where you want to pay that attention. It went down to 10,776 stitches instead of 10,900 and whatever stitches, because we shrunk him. So you need to take some of those stitches away. All right. It's almost equivalent to if you were to knit a sweater, you wouldn't use the same amount of yarn for a child sweater as you would an adult sweater. You would have to take some of that yarn away. Otherwise, the kid's sweater would be all super bulky and it would look crazy. So likewise, when you're stitching out your designs, the amount of stitches and the density needs to equal the size of the design. Otherwise, it'll mess it up. So don't drag from the corners. Make sure you use your resize pattern, okay? So that's another very popular question that people ask in the very beginning. Now, we are going to add some lettering to this. So what we'll do, whenever you add anything, let me make sure I don't have questions. Okay. So anytime you add to a design that's there, you don't want to open a new design and put with it. You always want to merge, because just opening up a new design will open up a whole nother design. So if I go back to the original and I click open, see, now we're back to the original one, and here's the one we've edited. So in order to add, say for instance, I wanted to go ahead and put that other cat on here, we'll go to merge. And here's the original size cat, and we hit open, and now both of them are there. All right. Now, another question, can you copy and paste? You can. So if I'm working on this one and I did just so happen to open up a whole nother one, I can click on it. Just like in any Microsoft program, I can click on him, come up to edit and do copy. And I can come to the original one and hit paste, and he will populate into the screen. All right. But when you are wanting to have everything, you want to put everything on one, you're merging all these different elements into one. So always remember to merge your files, okay? And that should help you in the future whenever you're adding different things together to make one embroidery design that you may want to put together. So when you're doing lettering, I'm going to show you an old school way, the way I prefer to put the letters on to a design. So there's a option here in Sew It Pro. You can, there's an option in here. It's called lettering. I think it's sew lettering. Let's see. Yeah, sew lettering. Sew lettering, it says you can type text to embroider, where I can type whatever, and look, you can choose fonts that are on your computer and let it stitch out. I'm telling you now, this does not work very well at all. This feature was added to the program at the very, very, very beginning of them creating Sew It Pro way back in the day, when there was no affordable options for embroidery fonts. Because at one point in time, you couldn't really afford to buy embroidery fonts. They were ridiculously expensive. I know when I first started, that was only about 4 years ago. Some websites I would go to, the fonts were like $20 and $15. And by the time you pay $15 and $20 per font, you would hardly ever be able to build up an inventory of fonts. So they made it where if you were to, like, if I were to type this in with my Town 10 font at 72 points, this program would auto digitize the font. So it can do it. But what happens is it just won't stitch out properly. I'm not a fan of any auto digitizing anything, especially if you don't know how to edit it and clean it up, because it just doesn't look as good. So if you come in, you can try it. Again, this is one of those things where I'm not going to tell you don't mess with it at all. But what I am going to tell you is if you use sew lettering, it will most likely aggravate you because it won't stitch out properly. So whenever you want to, if you ever want to try and stitch with sew lettering, make sure you stitch it out on a test piece of whatever. Don't put it on your project to begin with, because you'll be upset at yourself. So it usually doesn't stitch out very well. So what I like to suggest is that you use a prepaid font, because fonts are so inexpensive now, so very inexpensive. You have Designs by Juju, you have Stitchtopia, and you will get a free font for taking this class from Stitchtopia. So I will link that to you at the end of class. But we're going to put in a Stitchtopia font now. So I'm going to merge, and what I'm going to do is go to my drive where my fonts are, and I'm going to open up Banana Cupcakes, and I'm going to select the 1 inch. Okay, and what we'll do is just put my name here to make it easier. And once I open up one, I noticed I did File, Merge, and then I opened up the font file folder that I wanted to go to and picked a letter. So someone would say, oh my gosh, that's a lot of steps to do. Well, they've made it pretty easy, where once you merge in one letter from a certain folder, you come up to the lettering and insert lettering from the info pane. If you click here, it will open up all the rest of those fonts that come in that folder. Now they're in a list here. Click on alphabet mode to open up all of them. Okay, so here are all of the 1 inch letters from that folder, and you can scroll through them. And here's my lowercase v. I'm gonna click that and then come up to my lowercase e and click that, and there's my name. It's 3 letters. It was just that quick. It's done. It's all in one row. It's all in a line, and I'm finished. And there's my name. So once it's there, notice here's the cat. He's color stop number 1. Color stop number 2 is the first letter, 3 is the second, 4 is the third of my name. And to change the colors, like if I don't want the cat to be black, I would select it. Well, it says deep green. I would select him and change his color down here at the bottom. Now, getting into the thread palettes and changing the colors, that's an advanced class. But the default usually is the Brother polyester thread. But notice if you click the thread palette, it pulls up a ton of thread manufacturers that you can choose from. So I usually myself use Madeira. So I tend to make sure that my thread palette for Madeira is selected. And then I know that this brand Madeira Polyneon number 1633, I know what that is on my thread card, and I can easily reorder it from Madeira. Okay, whereas Brother Poly, the black, is number 900 if you order from Brother their embroidery thread. Okay, so selecting each color stop allows you to select the color stop you want to change and select the color you want it to be. Is just how easy it is to change your colors of your thread. Now, what if all of you have single needle machines? Let me ask really quickly.
No, I just got the red line.
You do have red line, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone else though has, if everyone else has the single needle machines, then this could be an issue for you, because it will stitch color stop number 1, then it will stitch color stop number 2 and stop. Then you have to tell it to go to stitch color stop number 3, even though it's the same color. And then you have to press go to do number 4, because they're listed separately. So on the red line, however, it's going to plow through all 3 of those colors, because it sees black and it knows black is this needle, and hey, the next one is this needle, so just keep stitching. If you need to change, if you need these to stitch separately on the red line, you really need to change this color in between the 2 letters so that it will force it to stop, and then you can tell it what color to go to, okay? But for those who have the single machine, if you want all of these to stitch together, then you will go to edit and join threads, and then you can join all adjacent threads of the same color, all threads of the same color, or threads of the same color starting at a certain thread number. But the easiest thing is all threads of the same color, because I needed all of the black to be the same. And if I had 2 purples and I wanted them to be joined together, then I could have done that as well. And it would have done it automatically. Okay, so that's how you join thread. So now purple is going to stitch, black, all black is going to stitch without stopping. Okay. The other beginner's tip with working with Sew It Pro, let's see, we've done, oh, I was going to show you the embroidery lettering. So if you wanted to add your font, now this is more of an advanced technique that really technically should be in a more advanced class, but I wanted to show it to you because you can use the keyboard to type in your fonts. So it's a part of the program called embroidery lettering. So if you select not sew lettering, but embroidery lettering. So if we select embroidery lettering, it said it paused. Let me make sure you have this open up. Okay, so here's embroidery. This is what embroidery letters look like. And you have your save, your print, the font that we have on right now, which is Banana Cupcakes 0.5 inches. I've already loaded that in, so that's why it's showing up. Or you can add your own font. Now, this is going to be slightly quick because I want to take your questions, but just to show you how to add the font in, you would select add font, and then you go to file, and that you're going to add a new font. I've already done the 1 inch, so we're going to add Banana Cupcakes 1.5 inch. And I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to ignore these messages. I don't know why it's doing that. And here it opened up every 1.5 inch letter that's in that folder. So these red lines going through all of the letters is your baseline where you want your letters to sit on. So we're going to click in a blank space and hit the down arrow on the key. Now I know this is like, again, this should be technically advanced stuff, but I'm gonna go over it real quick. And set the line down. It moves it down, and you want to make sure it's below every last letter where you want your fonts to line up. And then once you do that, you click on one of them, like this 0, and press the 0 on your keyboard. And notice what happens now when you click 0. Once we close this out, the 0 is connected to the 0 in the file. The 1 key is connected to the number 1, the 2 key 2, and so on and so forth. It automatically did your numbers, but notice it didn't do these extra characters. So your extra characters, you'll have to add in one at a time. So this is the ampersand. So you have to press the ampersand. This is the, not comma, but the, oh my God, I can't think right now. Apostrophe. So you would have to click the apostrophe. Asterisk. You have to click the asterisk. You see how it's going? But once you get back to your letters, I can do capital A and all the rest of the letters come in. All right. So I'm going to close this out because I've already done a font and show you again how the lettering actually works. So going back to Sew It Pro, here I have my name. So I'm going to move my name here. And we are going to go to embroidery lettering. And I'm going to pick a font that I already have, which is right here. And we're going to pick the 1 inch. Notice in this drop down, I only have 2 sizes because I've only loaded. This is brand new Sew It Pro and brand new lettering I'm adding. So I have just 2 options. I'm going to pick the 1 inch and I'm going to type in classes. Now, this is why typing with the keyboard is okay and it works. But I'm going to save this and then I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to open that back up because I'm not able to let it do it automatically. So that's why it closes out. But here back, it automatically shot it over to Sew It Pro. And it brings it over as each individual letter, which that part is very helpful because notice they're not all lined up on this line. Because when I put the font in, you saw how I brought the line all the way down to the very bottom of the capital letters. So that means the lowercase letters are floating up in the air. So that's why it's useful if you want to use that function. It can work and it does work, but you have some editing to do afterwards. Whereas the other way, the old school way, there's some editing that you still have to do by adding in each letter one at a time, but they come in where they're supposed to all in a certain line. But you would select your color stop just to pick all of these letters. We know that S is number 9, so I'm gonna hold down my control key and then select 8, 7, 6, 5, because those are the letters that I want to move, and then drag it down to make sure that it lines up. So you have to do some editing to make sure that your stuff is done, but you don't have to click on each individual letter. You can just type it in on your keyboard. Okay, so those are some of the basics. Those are some of the basics. We covered bringing in a design. We covered adding a design, which we do merge. Okay, and then you pick the design that you want to bring in. And then open, and once you merge, the other design comes in. If it's outside over here, it will not stitch. It won't even save it. So make sure that everything fits in your grid for the size hoop that you want. I'm gonna hit delete because we don't want that kitty cat. You merge in one letter at a time if you want to use the old function, which is in the toolbar right here in info icon view. Or if you do embroidery lettering, you can come to tools and select embroidery lettering and add letters that way. So lettering is not a good option. You can use it to type in and digitize fonts off of your computer. You can do it. It's not perfect by any means, actually. So it is an option. You can use it. It's a chance you're taking, but it sometimes it does work. A lot of times it doesn't. Okay. Saving, as I mentioned, you want to kind of save your design at the very beginning so that when the time comes for you to edit and save it to put it onto your embroidery machine, you won't overwrite your original file. So make sure that you save it as the edited file first before you even start to make edits. It's a good habit to start and put into practice. Now, when you, Laura, I believe you asked about printing and not printing the whole alphabet, right? Let me go back to the chat and make sure. When I use icons, why don't the letters separate by size? When you use info icon view, it depends on the folder. It depends on the way your fonts are set up in that folder. And I will go over that here in a moment to show you what you can do to help yourself. This program is bare basic, and it takes the information you give it and just gives it to you. So I'm going to show you. Can you group the name? It's single. Yes, single needle. Yes, it can be grouped. So like classes, for instance, we'll go back over that as well, because that was something I showed. Classes, notice 9, select the last letter, hold down control, and then select each one. Right now, I showed you how we can go to edit and join threads to join. Here's where you would use join threads of the same color starting at thread number, because I don't want my name to be joined with classes. Or I could want my name to be joined with classes, but in this instance, just to show you how it works, we're going to say join threads of the same color starting at thread number 3 and OK. And so now classes is its own thing, my name is its own thing, and the kitty cat is its own thing. Another thing I could have done is selected each one of these by clicking each one and holding down control to let it keep separating and change the color. And then that way, my name, when I tell it to edit join threads, all adjacent threads, it will change just the pink, and I didn't have to use starting at thread color anything. Okay, there's a couple of little ways to handle what you want to do in Sew It Pro. So now let me go back to your first question. How did I center the name? Centering the name, I just drag and put it in place. So if I were to put another name, let's go to icons and say we're going to do, see how once you open it and it clicks, it's not going to center it. So I usually bring it down to about where I want it to be and type in what I want. Once I'm done with that, I click the info icon view and close it out because I'm done with my letters. I don't leave that open. And now I have the letters that I want. I'm going to select them all and then grab it. Once it turns to the crosshairs, grab it and move it. And notice the little black, see this black square here? This is the middle of your design or your letters, your group of letters. That's the middle. So then I move that to where that black box is in the middle of the grid so that I know it's centered. Sometimes the black, like you can't see this corner down here because the letter A is black and it's covering that. Sometimes I just change it to a lighter color briefly so that I can see those squares and get my stuff lined up perfectly. Then I change it back to the color that I wanted it to be. But that's how I center. That's how I center the names or whatever group of letters or a group of images. You can do the same way. When you do print preview, and it prints the whole alphabet. So your print preview here, Let me move this. This is in my way. Okay, so here's print preview. So say I want to print this out so that I'll know what I'm dealing with. Notice next page. So you can click and go to each page that's in this thing. And yes, it's showing each one of those letters. First of all, the letters that I've joined are all showing up as one thing instead of each individual letter. See, these letters I didn't join, so they're not going to so they're going to be separated on the print preview, but the ones that are joined don't show up like that. But you can choose what you want to print by going to page setup. Sorry, wrong thing, sorry. By going to file, print preview, and then when you hit print, you can tell it what page you want. This is page 1. Go over to page 2, 3. So you only want the color list of colors that you want to reference and the image. So you know that when you hit print, you only want to do pages 1 through 3. And that keeps you from printing 5, 6, and 7 with all your letters on it. That's another option that you can use. Yeah, you don't want to waste the paper because that is a pain. But this little grid thing where you print this out, your design is very, very helpful. And it also helps you catalog your designs that you use. Now, going to really quickly why your letters don't separate by size. Mine are separated by size because, let's go to the info icon view again. Hold on, nope, not info icon view, that's the wrong thing. Go to merge rather, and I'm going to go to, actually, let me do this. I'm gonna share screen, there we go. Okay, so now when I go to merge, and I'm gonna go to where my fonts are, here is the font that you guys are going to get for free. It's called Juniper. And there is 0.5 inch size. Notice here, 1.5 inch size. Scroll down, 1 inch size, 2.5, and 2 inch size, and 3 inch size. Okay, so you get all of those sizes with your font that comes with your class. And when you notice, this says Stitchtopia Juniper PES, and see all of these sizes are all in the same folder. But Stitchtopia was very nice in how she separated and named her designs. This is 0.5 inch left parentheses. This is 0.5 inch period. So that whenever we merge in, oh, I was right there and then clicked off of it. Whenever we merge in, let me grab this capital letter A, and I go to info icon view. Notice in info icon view, my stuff is all separated by size now. So here's the 0.5. And then here's the, I believe this was 1.5, but you have to kind of like guess what the sizes are, which isn't fun, but you can kind of tell because this letter B and that letter A looks a whole lot denser and darker than that letter B and that letter A. So this is a much smaller size font. To avoid that problem, what I do is I separate my font sizes in its own folder so that once I merge in a alphabet like these, all of these font sizes are in one folder. I'm going to go to banana cupcakes and notice I have these separated by size. So if I want to go 1.5 inches and merge in a letter, and I merged in the letter G, notice now this is all, look at your right over here in the pane with all the letters. across the top, embroidery fonts, banana cupcakes, Stitchtopia banana cupcakes, 1.5 inch. So this tells me all of these letters are in my 1.5 inch folder. So I don't have to worry about what size these letters are because I only pick that folder size. So make your life easier. If you have a ton of fonts that you bought, I'm sorry, yes, you're gonna have to go through and you're gonna have to, you know, organize all your fonts in your files and in their own folder, and that's time consuming, but it will save you in the long run. So pick a day where it's calm, you get you a cup of coffee, the kids are in bed, the grandbabies ain't done went home, and you got time to yourself. Sit down and organize all of your fonts in their own size folder, and that will help you not only with the info icon view, but that will also help you if you do decide to use embroidery lettering, because once you map your new font, it will need to be mapped by size anyway. Okay, so it's easier to use that. Okay, when I say this DST and take to my machine, everything that's with, it doesn't matter what embroidery program you use. It doesn't matter what file format your machine takes. DST is its own beast. So it's universal. So no matter what machine you put DST on, the first color stop is going to be one color, the second color stop is going to be a different color, and it's the same every single time. So no matter, just, you can try it out if you would like. No matter what design you bring over, the first color is going to be its own. I think it does that because it knows DST is such a universal. There's no way to put a color file in with it. Whereas with PES, that's why you can only use PES on a brother machine, because the brother machine, once you save a design as PES, the colors save with it, but it saves it in a brother format. So the brother machine knows how to read you what that color is because it's in the brother format. Whereas Redline is DST or DMB. Melco has its own file format, so it saves its colors with its file format so that the colors come over. But that's just how the DST files work. You have to program your own colors in on the machine. You cannot program in colors on a software program and it transfers over to the machine. So that's not anything you're doing wrong. That's not your software. I don't care what software you use, that's the way that's going to work. Okay. Now we went through quite a bit at the very beginning. Do you have any other questions of what something else that you might have thought of, or something else that you may have a question on real quick? Otherwise, I will definitely let you guys know that So What Pro is very involved when it comes to editing designs and changing designs and separating parts of designs, which you can do. It's just, there's so much, you can move individual stitches in So What Pro, and it's very detailed. It's not hard to do once you learn how to do it. So there's going to be a part 2 class. There won't be quite as much as the part 1, but there will be a part 2 class as well if you're interested later. But for right now, I just wanted you guys to get started so that you could see just how easy it is. Because most people, you don't have to have an editing program to embroider. You don't. You can just buy a design the way it is and stitch it the way it is. But who of us wants to stitch what's already there? I saw that kitty cat, he's cute, but I want my own touches. I want my name on it. You know what I'm saying? I want my kid's name on it. You know, so, or I want to resize it. There's a lot of folks out there that'll buy, because as you saw on the embroidery design, embroidery library website, show you real quick, there were a lot of sizes to that kitty cat. And if he costs money for each one of these sizes, $3, $2, $1, you know what I'm saying? That adds up where somebody be like, shoot, I'm just gonna buy the 4x4 and I'm gonna increase it to 7.80 by 6.81. There's a lot of folks that do that. I don't encourage it, but there's some people that do. So if you so choose to do so, you can use Sew What Pro to edit and resize your embroidery designs. So it is an option. But again, as I suggested, I really don't suggest going higher or lower than 20% either direction, but you can. Just keep in mind whatever editing you decide to do to embroidery designs that you purchase or that you get for free, practice it first before you stitch it out on whatever it is that you're trying to, especially if you only got one of whatever it is. I can't tell you how many times I've screwed up something because I didn't practice it first. I took that chance. Now, if you're using it the way it came to you, and you know, like Stitchtopia, all you did was add a name and you used the Stitchtopia font, you know it's gonna stitch out good. So you don't really have to practice that. But if you're making changes, that's where I would suggest doing a practice. Okay. So Miss Vicky, am I saying Jandamar? Am I saying that properly? Miss Jandamar, Miss Cheryl, Miss Sabrina, Miss Laura, Miss Isabel. I really hope you guys have taken, I really hope you guys have enjoyed the class. Hope I didn't talk you too much, talk you to death. It was quick. It was quick and dirty, but I wanted to be sure that we hit the hot spots and that I didn't waste your time either. So, because if usually my 2 hours, we end up talking and wasting time on stuff. So I'm going to send a poll. You don't have to take it right now. I mean, you know, just if you want to, you don't have to take it, but if you don't mind, you know, answer the questions to the poll for me. I believe it's anonymous. If it's not, I mean, I'm not going to be mad at you if you tell me you didn't understand everything. It just lets me know where I need to improve, because the goal, as I mentioned before, is to launch an actual online course for Sew What Pro by video, not one-on-one, but it'll be by video, and know what to put in it and how to do it. Okay. Add the letters. Are you going to do a second? Yes, I am going to do a second class, but we got to get through the first round of classes first. So, and the letters, I'm going to email those to you. You talk, wait a minute, Zaranda, the letters you're talking about, are you meaning the font that you guys get for free, or are you talking about how to add letters?
Yeah, you know how you went in and you added the E and you was able to add the V and the E with the same font. How did you do that again?
Yes, that's when we add that in, that's with the info icon view. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm screen sharing. So info icon view, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
So info icon view is, if you look right here where it says lettering, that's this first box right here. So whenever I click that, it pulls up the last lettering that you opened up. So you have to open the first letter. So let me close this out. And we'll go to the way it should work. You go to merge, and then you merge in your first letter, and you open it and put it in on the wherever your thing is. Once you open the first one, when you go to info icon, all the rest of that same font in that same size, as long as they're in that same folder, will open up. And then you just double click. You just double click on what letters you want on there, and they'll automatically populate into Sew What Pro. That's how easy, and that's the other reason why I prefer to do it this way, is because I can move these letters, you know, I mean, you can do it the other way as well if you type your letters on the keyboard, but I guess because this is the way I learned how to do it, it's just second nature for me to add my letters this way. But 9 times out of 10, if I took the time and mapped all the rest of them, I'll be able to do the other way too. But that's pretty much how you add letters. One of the ways you add letters.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, the value of Sew What Pro is bar none in comparison to the others. You're paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do the exact same stuff that you can do for 65. But if you want to give some of the others a try, then you definitely can. Like Miss Vicky, I believe it was, that had the other program. I think was it you?
Yeah, I have.
No, that's me.
Yeah, it was me. I just have the demo of Sew It Pro because I wasn't sure which one that I wanted to get because I was into like doing logos. I wanted to do the next step with a little bit of digitizing a little bit.
So digitizing is so art. That's so art. So the way I tell people is, you want to do artwork, you need to get So Art. So What Pro is for what's already been digitized. It's already there. You just want to edit it, do some editing to it. So What Pro is very helpful once you're done with the digitizing though. So I have both because they both work together. Once you digitize your logo, for instance, you may want to put the person's name up under it. Well, that's where So What Pro can be handy and easily do that without having to digitize lettering, because lettering is not easy to digitize. I would not suggest doing lettering with So Art. I would not. Just like I didn't suggest it to auto digitize in So What Pro, same principle. It's just lettering takes, I can't explain. Lettering is digitizing on a whole nother level. Matter of fact, the $1,000 software program that I have, Wilcom Hatch, that is like professional digitizing, you still technically can't digitize fonts properly. You have to buy the Wilcom, I think it's called E4, and Wilcom E4 is a few $1,000s in order to digitize lettering. So to digitize lettering is on a whole nother level. I wouldn't suggest that even with So Art. But Jandamar, what program did you have?
I have the BES4.
That's what it was. Okay. So have you considered trying So What Pro?
Yes.
Okay.
I sent you an email to ask you to send me a link so I can purchase this Sew It Pro.
Okay. Or just try the demo. Just like Miss Vicky, I do have a video on how to use the demo. Just give it a shot, see how you feel, see how you like it. And if you like it, then yes, you definitely same web page you can purchase right there if you would like. Okay.
Okay.
I really, really appreciate y'all joining me. If you have any other questions, please shoot me an email. Let me know. If you're interested in level 2, or if you're interested in one-on-one, let me know. Okay. And I'm not telling that to everybody. I'm not telling that to everybody. So y'all special ones, everybody that's decided to sign up for the classes, let me know if you're interested in a one-on-one, okay? All
Thank
right.
you. It's very, very informative. It just helped me make up my mind of what program that I think I want to use for the next step.
Okay. Just let me know. And in our group, Stephanie, I can't think of what her last name is, but there's a Stephanie Clever Dog Design. She teaches So Art, and she is excellent at teaching So Art. So if you're interested in it, check out her YouTube channel, Clever Dog Design. She is a sweetheart, and she'll teach you how to use So Art very well, actually. She does it much better than I do. Because I'm not an auto digitizer, so I didn't care for that. But the hands-on digitizing is the route that I went, and it's expensive. It was expensive. So won't be doing that anymore. All right, you guys, thank you so very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all in the Hoop group and around. Again, I sent the poll. If you decide to take it, thank you very much. And I will be in touch again with round 2 if that's something you're interested in. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, okay? Thank y'all, because I gotta get ready for class number 2. They're coming in at 8 o'clock.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I will email you a link to the video.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.